YouTube, what's going on? In between charging my phone and getting ready for more Destiny Rising, I figured we would check out more Summoning Salt. So as always, please show love to Summoning Salt, give him a sub, give him a view, give him a like, all that. But today we're going to be watching the history of New Super Mario Bros. Wii World Records. I played this game a lot back in the day. Love this game. So I'm very curious to see how world records for it look. Let's get into it.
Merchandise is now available on Teespring. Check out the storefront right below the video.
Cool.
Enjoy.
Cat. Wow. This game's so fun, dude. I played it co-op, and it was a very good time.
One of the fastest growing speedruns of the last few years is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Close to 1,000 runs are on the leaderboard, a mark that not many games have reached. Naturally, competition at the top level is impressive, because not many people can call themselves a world record holder. A world record demands near perfection, honing in skills that come after thousands of hours of
Wii was awesome. I loved it.
Few people have gotten to that level, but those who have etched their place in speedrunning history. This is the world record history of New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
God, man, the music, it hits every time. How's the audio so far, by the way? Looks good in OBS. I'm so curious to see if there's like crazy tech and like glitches and shit. Perfect. All right, thanks, bro.
Let's start up here, at the beginning. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was released on November 12th, 2009. Normally, it takes months or even years before a speedrunning scene develops around the game.
So weird to think it's been so long already, you know?
Wii, it took 4 days. People nearly instantly gathered in the Speed Demos Archive forums to route the game
4 days.
In the following weeks, times of 45 minutes and 35 minutes were claimed by MWL and Chronorox, respectively.
Yeah, it sold a lot, but I mean,
although neither have video proof.
I don't really care about sales.
Runner UC Pro would both route the game
but
and complete speed
one of the
runs.
most successful systems of all time.
In May 2010, he claimed the 2605, but once again, he didn't record it. To get to the first recorded run,
I wonder how
we have to jump to May 2011. How
long it took
when Riker Z uploaded this run. A time of 26
Checking how long to beat New Super Mario
seconds.
Bros. Wii. How long to beat says 9 hours.
Riker Z started in World 1.
And then 26 minutes.
Level 1 is quite straightforward, where you want to run and jump through to get to the end.
Yeah, that's Nintendo in general. I feel the same.
However, there are subtle optimizations.
But yeah, Wii was very, very different because it was so motion control based.
Gives you a slight boost of speed, and running through the checkpoint is the fastest way to power up. Riker Z also picked up the propeller mushroom for later. In 1-2, he tilted the Wii remote to create downward slopes he could quickly run down, and picked up a star midway through, which increases your running speed.
Okay.
In 1-3, Riker Z used the propeller mushroom to fly up and access the secret exit, which unlocked the cannon to take him to World 5.
Right, I forgot.
In 5-1,
there's obviously cannons and skips and shit, right?
So latter half, and he simply fell in and swam as quickly as he could. It slowed him down by several seconds. After 5-1, you're forced to run into the piranha plants on the overworld map, where Riker Z collected the 8 toad balloons.
It's so funny because like at the time it looked so crispy, but now I think it's like 480p or something. And it's just
5-2
crusty.
Or 5-3, and Riker Z picked 5-2. It's a pretty straightforward stage, where you bounce on top of wigglers and run through the rest. Next was the World 5 Fortress, a vertical stage where having the propeller suit helps immensely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the propeller suit
was
is
able to propel her up
for sure gonna be a hard carry for this run, huh?
Then defeated Iggy with 3 jumps on his head. The next stage was 5-4. This stage is intended to be an auto-scroller, where you ride on this raft while enemies rain down from these platforms above. It's designed to be long and slow, not ideal conditions for a speedrun. So, instead, Riker Z decided to implement the first game-breaking trick of the run. This was first posted by UC Pro just 2 weeks after the game came out.
That's so
and
clean.
Took some practice to get right, but thanks to the propeller suit and navigating and jumping at the correct times.
So I wonder if wall jumps like reset
the entire stage by jumping on the platforms.
How long it lasts or whatever.
Riker Z did so beautifully, making a few brief hesitations but still flying through. After 5-4 came the World 5 Ghost House, where Riker Z took the secret exit once again to unlock another cannon, this time taking him to World 8.
Slam, my phone's going to take 40 minutes to 80%. Although,
8-1,
that's
8-2, 8-7,
by the time we're done this video, I'll be good to go.
Castle. In 8-1, Riker Z had to deal with randomly falling meteors, and he got hit twice.
Damn.
He powered back up, only to intentionally
nice slow-ass run, loser.
To boost through some lava. In 8-2, Riker Z once again took the secret exit to unlock 8-7, a hidden level that bypasses most of World 8.
Oh shit, okay.
8-7 itself is a long stage consisting of jumping.
Dude, I wonder like how much time just goes into routing.
World 8's airship isn't
what is the fastest route, you know?
Previous games. Instead,
and then with new tech, it like changes the routes and shit
as quickly as possible. He picked up the propeller shroom again to jump across big gaps instead of having to wait and slowly bring the platforms down. The Bowser Jr. fight was simple, hitting him with 3 bombs that he dropped. And finally, there was Bowser's Castle. Riker Z used the propeller suit quite a bit to navigate at the start, which isn't always the fastest.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like that's
the escape, where you have to guide Bowser's heat-seeking.
I feel like that's going to be phased out at certain points
then
as this gets cleaned up.
Obstacle course to the finish. In all, Riker Z finished after 26 minutes and 56 seconds.
Insanity,
bro. It was
a
good starting point. There were some obvious slowdowns that could be cleaned up, but no huge mistakes or deaths.
2 weeks after the game came out, you said?
Viral on YouTube.
Bro,
over the next several months,
imagine a Mario game comes out and within 2 weeks they finish it faster than it's going to take to watch this video.
First new time, a 25:49.
You could literally beat the game 2 times by the time we're done watching the video.
Over the 26:56
that's fucking crazy.
In every single stage. Most of his strategies were the same, but were better executed. In 5-1, for instance, he dealt with the water much better, jumping out earlier and just barely being able to make it to the end.
That's so
One of the biggest time saves was in 8-1, where he managed to avoid getting hit by the meteors and didn't have to power back up. But the best improvement was
that's true, right? Because if you get hit, not only that, but you lose your power-ups and shit.
Much better in the escape, using 9 fireballs to clear the path instead of 18 in his old record.
Wow. That's almost half as good.
In 2012, Riker Z would get 2 more records, a 25:31 and a 25:27. These runs both optimized existing strategies and utilized new ones. In the escape, Riker Z was able to use just 7 fireballs to clear the path ahead, the fewest ever achieved.
I wonder how many people like jump over the checkpoint because of that little
up a star to get additional speed instead
little hiccup the game does.
As Big Mario. And in World 5, he chose to play 5-3 instead of 5-2. It was a more difficult stage, but
faster.
A slightly faster one if performed optimally. Riker Z had left his mark on New Super Mario Bros. Wii speedrunning. 4 world records in a year and a half. He stopped running the game. But then something very interesting happened. Despite years going by and many new runners emerging, Riker Z's world record remained unbroken.
Really?
The leaderboard grew, and players got better, but Riker Z's years-old effort was too much to top.
Damn, okay.
Finally, in 2016, someone broke through.
Is it
His
him?
name was Green
Oh, no.
Uprooter, and he beat Riker Z by 1 second. But unfortunately, he didn't record it. Green Uprooter had recorded competitive times before this run, and is a trusted community member, so his 25:26 is taken at face value. But it can't be viewed today.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. If you're a respected member of speedrunning and this, like, you'd think that you just record all the time, no?
Left the world record in an
I feel like I would just record like a 10-hour session, and then if I have something good, I just cut that part out.
Shave 1 unrecorded second off the record. Now, there was no telling when it would be broken again. But in early 2016, a new runner was climbing up the leaderboards. Quickly, it became inevitable that he was going to be the next record holder. In April 2016,
Inevitable?
he officially did
It was
it,
Thanos?
closing out a 25:23 to beat Green Uprooter by 3 seconds.
Damn.
But this guy wasn't just any world record holder.
Was it Riker Z?
He had reached the top, and he intended to stay there for a long time. His name was Ochgard.
Oh, never mind. God, the music always, it gets me bumped on YouTube every time, but it's so worth it because his videos are too fire, and the music just make them that much better.
Ochgard had been around the speedrunning block before, achieving top times in Mega Man X3, Crash Tag Team Racing, and many other games. It makes sense that he was quickly able to get the record in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But what nobody could have expected is that the very next day, he did it again, a 25:22. And the next day, another record,
Bro.
a 25:19.
Bro.
Ochgard had set 3 world records in 3 days. He was more consistent than any player who would come before him, meaning he hit tricks more often and made fewer mistakes. A big place he saved time was in the escape, navigating through the platforms quicker and hesitating less. And overall, he was able to execute most tricks more cleanly, shaving fractions of a second off in several stages. After
Bro,
these
that's
3
so
records,
intense.
Ochgard took a break from the game. Nobody came close to challenging him, with the closest active runner still being 16 seconds away. His skill level was far ahead of the rest, so he didn't really need to keep defending the record.
X3 demands consistency.
But
That
he came
speedrun is
back in
brutal. Is
August
it? Yeah.
anyway,
I need to watch
and
some
immediately
Mega Man
got a
speedruns.
5-second world record.
Those games are so fucking nasty.
Ochgard's 25:14 was his smoothest run yet. He cleaned up a small mistake in 5-3 from his last run, doing a small jump to be able to run under the blocks while on the
Oh
ball.
shit, okay.
His 5-4 execution was also smoother, as he didn't pound the blocks he landed on and was able to continue moving. And in 8-1, he didn't slow down as much while propellering over the lava. These all added up to a
So
few seconds
clean.
of time save, and he didn't lose any significant time anywhere else. With a 25-14,
A lot of pixel-perfect jumps that just barely
Ochgard
miss
had
spikes.
pulled way ahead. 12 seconds
So
ahead
awesome.
of second place,
It's so-
and
man, this shit is so
21
cool.
seconds ahead of any active runner. He had set a total of 4 records, and barring any new developments, it seemed like nobody else had a real shot of catching him. But still, probably Ochgard's most unlikely feat was the 3-day streak of records he had back in April. Even setting a record on back-to-back days is extremely rare, so extending that streak to 3 days, it practically never happens. Not only did it show complete dominance of a category, but it showed a level of consistency that was unrivaled. It was undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime accomplishment for Ochgard.
Or was it? What the fuck?
Yes,
That's
from
zoom in.
August 16th through the 18th, Ochgard once again set 3 world records in a row. Doing this once was staggeringly unlikely.
Ridiculous.
But in all my years of research, I've never heard of someone doing it twice. All 3 records were 25:12s, but each one was slightly lower than the last.
Wow,
The
dude.
time saves were minimal, but impressive in their own right. The first record had a particularly clean Bowser's Castle, the second cleaned up a mistake in 5-3, and the final shaved a fraction of a second on the rolling hills in 8-2. But still, these 3 records weren't good enough for Ochgard. 2 weeks later, he'd lower it again with a 25-10, his 8th world record. Ochgard was quickly approaching a barrier, a sub-25.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's sub-25.
He was 10 seconds away. Did he have that much time left to save?
That's gonna be so annoying.
Still fractions of a second he could get from.
That's gonna be so annoying when you're that close. Like, for sure you want to get under 25.
Stuff he'd gotten in a run before.
But like maybe it's just not possible. Seeing like a 25:05 is just like,
Still 5 seconds away. But there was one other trick he could go for. It would be the hardest trick in the run by far, but it would get him to sub 25.
You have no choice at that point.
Is 556.
Alright, now we get to the meat and potatoes.
In the second half of the World 5 Fortress, the spiked walls move back and forth on a cycle throughout the entire level. Normally, with fast movement, you make it to the top, and then have to wait a few seconds for the spikes to finish their cycle so you can get to the door. Typically, you enter the door with 546 left on the timer. However, with unbelievably fast movement, it's possible to barely reach the top a cycle early. You can just fit in before the spikes move and block your path, and you wind up reaching the door at 5.
Okay, I see.
This was originally thought to be tool assisted only, as the precision involved is truly incredible. Your moves have to be just right, where the instant you land, you have to be starting your next jump up.
Makes sense?
But in late August 2016, Ochgard became the first human to pull off 556. He just barely
that sentence
before the gap closed.
You thought that it could only be done by TAS, but
that it was
he's the first human to do it. Like, what the fuck, man?
It saves 7.5 seconds, since the in-game timer moves a bit quicker than a real second, which means that when combined with the stages of 2505, a sub 25 was indeed technically possible.
Holy.
So, the goal was now in sight. With nobody else close to his skill level, Ochgard was the one with any chance to do it. It was still a long shot goal, but at least there was a narrow path.
These videos are always so, like, he won't be the first to do it.
You know what I mean? He could, then nail 556 to get the bulk of the time save. If he could pull all that off, it would be an essentially unbeatable speedrun. For the rest of 2016,
that's who. There's gotta be like some speedruns that are literally absolutely like frame perfect,
few months,
and so the first person to do it is just like unbeatable, right? That's gotta be the best feeling ever as a speedrunner, if you get literally the perfect run, and you just know that it's not beatable. I guess that's everybody's goal, right, as a speedrunner?
Oh my god.
556, baby!
You did it?
Yep.
You did?
Yes.
Bro. I could probably do it in sub 23, it's just I don't want to show off, you know? That'd be cringe. I just realized because the video is like so blurry, I have that effect of like the camera's clean and then the background's blurry to create depth.
After weeks of trying, it had happened. The legendary, unimaginable sub 25. This was very close to being a perfect speedrun.
That's so... Look at all those improvements, man.
556, that was 5 seconds ahead of the record. Ochgard was able to get a gold split on Bowser's Castle.
Wow.
It was the fastest he had ever completed the last stage in a run.
God, look how fucking
His
precise,
movement was
man.
impeccable, and he saved all the time he could.
You guys ever see the Mario 1
celebrate and take it easy. He had gotten his
where you like clip through the flag and stuff because there's like quarter pixels and shit,
and so he didn't. For the rest of 2016 and throughout 2017, nobody was really doing world record attempts in New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Makes sense.
The community
Basically
considered
impossible.
Oshguard's time to be essentially unbeatable. And it made sense why. First, you'd have to get 556, which fellow top runner Gix01 described as a 1 in 50 trick.
Jesus.
Then you'd have to find a way to save time in one of the other stages. Oshguard did not leave much room for this. And finally, you'd have to match his incredible Bowser's Castle split, which ended with a 511 on the in-game timer. As 2017 progressed, people did improve their times, but nobody was close to 24:58.
It's so crazy to think in speedrunning that 10 seconds
really did seem
is like
as
you
though
aren't even
Oshguard had
close. You know what I
achieved
mean?
an unbeatable world record.
All that is
Oshguard
like
himself
1/6,
felt that
you know,
maybe
when you
on the
think about
outer
it.
limit, a 24:55 would be possible. By doing quicker wall kicks in 5-4, doing spins later into jumps in the airship so Mario moved faster for longer, and other small optimizations like those. He stopped short of calling his record unbeatable, but it's clear that neither he nor anybody else in the community felt there was much wiggle room. And then in April 2018, this happened.
What the fuck?
24:45. How on earth was that possible?
New tech,
Well,
I assume.
Certainly this run pulled out all the stops, like 556, right?
Every time, right? Every time.
This run didn't have 556.
Of course
so
it
lost
didn't.
A little over 7
Of course.
seconds.
And we're 20 minutes into a 50-minute.
Certainly
Every
this
time
was
it's like
achieved
this.
by an established
These
runner
videos are
like
so
Oshguard,
sick, dude.
Right? No, it was from a new runner. Named
Every time,
Fade
it's
Vanity.
always somebody new
Alright.
that doesn't even do a perfect run and it just blows it out of the water every
So
time.
what happened here? Well, Fade Vanity was a runner who quickly rose up the leaderboards in early 2018
these people are
until
crazy.
he had a low 25. He performed the 24:45 on April 13th, 2018, and other than missing 556, the run was incredibly smooth from start to finish. 8-2 in particular was fantastic, finishing with a nearly unheard of 424 on the in-game timer.
You know, he blazed it so hard. What
But
the hell?
that's not why this run was the record. This run had a massive time save because of a huge new trick in the airship. And that trick is called Bombers.
But now the thing is, like, then Oshguard's
At the
gonna
end of the
implement
World
it, and
Airship,
then
you have to fight Bowser Jr. The intended way to fight him is to wait for him to drop a bomb, then ground pound to send it back up to hit him. Do that 3 times and Bowser Jr. is defeated. For years, that's how players fought him in runs.
makes sense.
However, in August 2017, runner I Love SMB found that in the world's 6th airship, it was possible to defeat Bowser Jr. by jumping on him 3 times, instead of using the intended clown cars. Runners then
Interesting.
theorized that this could apply in the World 8 airship fight as well, which is what you do in an any percent run. However, the gap between Bowser Jr. and the top of the screen
I
is smaller
see.
than Mario's hitbox, so despite players trying, nobody could fit in the gap to hit Bowser Jr. on the head. For a few months, that was the end of it. But in January 2018, former world record holder Green Uprooter figured it out. The key was Bowser Jr.'s movement. He not only moves horizontally, but also vertically in a sinusoidal pattern, oscillating
so
from a low point to a high point.
So you have to get in
So
at
if
the low
you
point.
fly up to him, then perform a ground pound in a 1 to 2 frame
Bro.
window when Bowser Jr. is at the lowest point in his oscillation,
Bro.
Mario's hitbox briefly shrinks just enough to fit in the gap so you can hit Bowser Jr. If you're able to pull this off, it saves 13 seconds.
Jesus.
An incredible amount of time for a
So
run
somebody's
like
gonna
this.
pull it off 3
The
times?
problem is, it's really difficult. The only way to practice it was to load a file with propeller shrooms, then play the second half of the stage over and over.
Jesus,
When
dude.
Green Uprooter first discovered it in January 2018, It was thought to be an RNG related trick because nobody could hit it with any consistency. In fact, it took 2 more
What the
months
fuck?
before somebody hit it in a run, when Gix got it in March. Doing bombless saves up to 13 seconds,
Bombless.
but doing double bombless, where you skip 2 of the 3 bombs, saves up to 20. Triple bombless.
Do you
would
guys remember
actually
in
boost
Mario
time
Kart
since simply
Wii,
ground pounding the other bomb is
where it was
faster.
like the bridge,
But despite
like
double bombless
jump off the
being
bridge and hit the
theoretically
pipe or whatever,
known to be possible,
and nobody
had
could do like
ever
3
pulled
laps?
it. Even in practice, you'd have to hit the most precise trick in the game twice in a row. It just wasn't realistic.
Not 3 times?
So that's what made it even more crazy when Fade Vanity got the world's
Did,
first ever double bombless and finished the run as his 24:45 world record.
Ridiculous.
I did it! I did it! I did it, I did it, I did it. Oh my fucking god, I did it.
Without the 556, so imagine. That's what, 7 seconds they said?
Sadly, Fade Vanity quit speedrunning in 2021 and deleted all videos of his runs.
Oh, okay.
So, many of his world records are lost today, including his 24:45. A small amount of footage from this run and others were preserved in Connor01's record history video, so we can see glimpses of what he did. But when he set this record in April 2018,
Man, that's so crazy.
the community was absolutely shocked at his accomplishment. And still, there was clearly more time to save. He didn't get 556, so a run in the 24:30s
That's kinda
and
sad.
possibly
It
lower
happens.
was possible.
Either-
Fade Vanity was the new top runner of New
Either
Super
they thought he
Mario
couldn't
Bros.
improve it,
Wii,
or,
and while little
you
footage
know,
remains
it's
of
so
what he
stressful
did
that you
over
do
the
it
next
once and then you're
several
like, I'm not
months,
doing that shit
his
again.
impact and legacy continue to this day.
Or, I mean, it could be whatever.
With
you know?
time still left on the
He
table,
sounded young,
Fade
so
Vanity committed to it.
started working, doesn't have enough time, can't be good enough,
The record down.
gets sick, could be a million things, but it always sucks when somebody has that much potential, right? And then just... Yeah, it's the deleting. The deleting makes me think that, you know, there was... Yeah, I don't know. Could be that too. Could have said the N-word.
Let's go, let's go.
Could've got
We
cancelled.
fucking did it. Let's go, 3x. Come on, let's go.
That's true. I guess, yeah, depending on your job and stuff. You can't have YouTube videos of you cussing and everything. That's true. You know what's funny? I had the weirdest thought the other day. I was looking at my PC, and I was just thinking, like, one day this PC is gonna be gone. And it's so weird, like, when I think of, like, one day I'll die or whatever,
Let's
don't give a
take
shit,
stroll over to
but
the
I, like,
new
looked at my
Super
PC and I
Mario
was like,
Bros.
one day,
Wii
whether
leaderboards. You've got a number
it breaks,
of
I
runners
replace
with a
it,
low
I
25
stop,
minute
whatever,
time, and a few that had
like, that
just
PC
broken into the 24
will eventually
minute
just
barrier,
be, like, thrown in the
with the
garbage, and I
lowest
was like,
being
that's so
at
sad.
24:57.
I've done so much on this thing,
Then you have Fade Vanity,
you know?
one of the most dominant record holders in all of speedrunning. He had set 5 records now, and when combining 556, double bombless, and tight execution all around, he managed to take it under 24:30.
And I was
Fade took a
even
break
thinking, I was
after
like, whenever
this,
I
and his record
stop,
really
if
didn't
I
seem to
stop,
be in
who knows,
jeopardy.
right? Maybe I die before I
A few
stop.
months went
Maybe I get
by,
hit by another
and
car and
while
it finishes
runners
me off.
like the Coding Boy
But,
and DCA did creep into the 2440s,
I feel like if I were to stop, unless I
there was still a lot of
decided I
separation.
absolutely fucking hate this for
It
some
had
reason,
turned into a
I feel like I
battle
would just
for
leave all my
second
stuff up,
place,
because, like, why not? It's
which
already there, and,
changed
like,
hands a few times in late 2019.
it could give people laughs.
But nobody
which is
had
the whole
a
point.
chance of catching Fade Vanity. Nobody had his consistency
But it's crazy to
or
think
skill.
that a few clicks I could get
As
rid of,
for
like,
Fade
over
himself,
3,000 videos.
He initially didn't have much
So
of a
weird.
need to continue playing the category. But by early 2020, new strategies were found once again. The days of huge time saves seem to be in the past, but minor strategies like this would be crucial in finding time to save over the record. They both came in World 8
Yeah, right,
and
Sam?
were both found by Aztecs.
It's so weird.
In 8-1, normally you have to significantly
Even
slow
like I
down
recently
after propellering over this lava. However, by picking up and carrying a
was watching
shell,
some of my old
you can
stuff.
throw it and end Mario's spin
And like I remember when I set my desk here and like, you know, changed all my room and did this green screen and shit.
Rolling hills throughout the stage can destroy your speed.
And it's so weird because I'm like, fuck,
However,
it feels so long ago, but it also
Aztecs
feels like
found that by
yesterday.
crouch jumping and releasing the crouch at the top of the jump.
And then like I was looking at an old
Mario's
picture of one of my
speed is
dogs,
reset back
my
to
first
normal,
dog, and like the
and
bed was
once
that
again,
way
you
instead of
don't
that
have
way,
to
and I was
slow
like,
down
oh
as
my
much.
god, it feels like a lifetime ago.
In
Just
total,
that one little
these
change,
tricks
I'm like,
saved about a
Jesus.
second and a half, meaning the potential was there for Fade to continue lowering the record. And on January 9th, 2020, that's exactly what he did.
Boom! Gas!
Yeah, Nick, dude, for me it was so weird because when I moved out, it was only for a few months, and I was like
Well, the new
skipping
Super
between the
Mario
two, so I
Bros.
never had that
leaderboard
feeling.
was going through a transition at this point. See, whenever the game fades to black, it's loading what comes next.
But even at
These
that, when I
loads
came
vary
back
from
like
disc
fully
to
here, it
disc,
was so weird
console
already.
to console, or even within the same disc or console. Each load might only vary by a
Classic
few
Rave
tenths
VOD where
of
he
a
takes a
second. But over
break
the
from
course
streaming,
of
then you
a
see him
run,
sitting
this can add up
in the
to
floor of the
15
background
to
eating
20
pizza by
seconds.
himself.
That
Oh, like
means
between
that
moving?
A player can have a much faster run, but fall behind because of loading times outside of their control. So, the community was transitioning towards subtracting all loads out of the final time.
Heyo.
This would level the playing field, and as a byproduct, lower the time of
It's
each
just
run
old
by a
AH
bit
apartment?
over 2 minutes. Fade's 24:29 converted
Makes
to
sense,
a
man.
time of 22:20 without loads.
Dude, I remember when I
In January
did all this.
2020, a runner named
mostly-
Video completed a run of 24:35 with
It was mostly just
loads
getting rid
that
of. I had like
the
a
community thought
bookshelf
might
here
have
for like my
tied Fade's
DVDs and
run
shit.
when retimed without loads. Hence the comments.
But now it's like I feel like I have so much room,
It ended up being just behind.
especially when I did that Switch Sports stream, which I'm going to do another in the future. I put my chair on my bed,
That removed all doubt.
and just like
Fade
having
was
all this space, I was like,
securely
oh my
on
god,
top
I have so much
once
room.
again. In March
I've never had that.
2020,
Not as an
timing
adult.
without loads was made official, and the world record was now a 22:19. It's also worth mentioning that in recent months, players discovered
I'm not
that
gonna
the
lie.
way they originally retimed runs added a couple seconds in certain cases.
I'm not gonna lie, that whole yap
Fade
sesh, I missed all of that.
2219
We are
was originally
rewinding a
timed
few minutes, my bad.
In total, these tricks saved a break after this, and his record really didn't seem to be in jeopardy. A few months
My bad.
went by,
I missed
and
all of
while
that.
runners like the Coding Boy and DCA did creep
I
into the
literally,
2440s,
as soon as we started talking
were
about
still-
him just like going away, pay attention, man. I was just like, but saying, yeah, I got too locked into the
leaderboards. You've got a number of runners with a low 25-minute time, and a few that had just broken into the
69%
24-minute barrier.
69% charge, by the way.
Being a 24:57.
I unlocked the secret ending on my phone.
Then you have Fade Vanity, one of the most dominant record holders in all of speedrunning.
That jump is fucking
He's set
crazy.
5 records now, and when combining 556, double bombless, and tight execution all around, he managed to take it under 24:30. Fade took a break after this, and his record really didn't seem to be in jeopardy. A few months went by, and while runners like the Coding Boy and DCA did creep into the 2440s, there was still a lot of separation. It had turned into a battle
Almost 20
for second
seconds
place,
in
which
speedrunning.
changed hands a few times in late 2019,
Crazy.
but nobody had a chance of catching Fade Vanity. Nobody had his consistency or skill. As for Fade himself, he initially didn't have much of a need to continue playing the category. But by early 2020, new strategies were found once again.
Okay, this is where I
The
kind of
days
like
of huge
clocked
time
out.
saves seem to be in the past, but minor strategies like this would be crucial in finding time to save over the record. They both came in World 8 and were both found by Aztecs. In 8-1, normally you have to significantly slow down after propellering over this lava. However, By picking up and carrying a shell, you can throw it and end Mario's spin early,
That's
meaning you slow
fucking
down
crazy.
much less. In 8.2, the rolling hills throughout the stage can destroy your speed. However, Astix found that by crouch jumping and releasing the crouch at the top of the jump, Mario's speed is reset back
You
to
have the
normal,
theoretical.
and once again, you don't have to slow down as much.
Wow.
In total, these
Dude,
tricks saved.
That was a really good effect. I wonder if this is like in the game with like replays, or if this is just editing.
Slow down as much.
That's awesome.
In total,
I assume
these
it's just
tricks saved about
two
a second
things
and a half,
overlaid with
meaning the potential
the
was there
opacity
for Fate
lowered.
to continue lowering the record.
Damn.
And on January 9th, 2020, that's
But yeah, you have possible time save, best possible time, because it basically just takes all of your best splits over time. Because for those that don't know, like a red split means that you're slower than your last one. Green is your better, but a gold is a PB. So basically, it just combines all your PBs, and then it gives you your best possible time and shit. Also, you know what's funny is I'm sure so many of them, like, you run a game so long that you kind of get tunnel vision. Like, I'm sure they're always like trying to see if something could work, or they have an idea or whatever. But I'm sure at some point, if you run a game hundreds, thousands of hours, you probably like you get tunnel vision. Like, this is the only way that it can be run, right? Or like the bombless thing. It's like it's not possible, right? So it's just like I'm not gonna waste my time. Just focus on whatever, and then boom, somebody comes out and it's just like 30-second difference. Also, go further and combine the splits of multiple runners. That I didn't know. I do know that you can download the splits of other people. I remember seeing Squeaks. Squeaks hasn't ran Mario 64 seriously in years. Like, every now and then he'll do it just to kind of be like, let's see how I do now. But I think I've seen that he literally would download like viewers splits and go against that, which is sick.
What he did.
I don't know. I've only used live split on stream a couple times. One was like Little Nightmares, was for the speed run, and that was more for me just to keep track of like if I was doing if I was on pace, and like the Mario Kart marathon where it was just interesting. But I've never like seriously used splits, you know.
Boom! Yes!
But dude, honestly, whoever made live split is a fucking genius. The only thing I wish is that you could make it fucking transparent, like more. Maybe there is another way, but I feel like there isn't a default like transparent. Or like this actually looks clean. Like he's got outlines around the text, so maybe he did something. But I feel like I tried to do the transparent thing and it didn't work. So the only way was to like go into OBS and chroma key a color, but then like the transparency gets fucked everywhere. But this, you literally have like a black outline, so I guess it worked. Maybe an old version, the transparent. Now I want to fuck with it just to see. I'm gonna write that down on Notepad.
Broke the tie? What tie? Well, the new Super Mario Bros. Wii leaderboard was going through a transition at this point. See, whenever the game fades to black, it's loading what comes next. These loads vary from disc to disc, console to console, or even within the same disc or console. Each load might only vary by a few tenths of a second, but over the course of a run, this
So there's
can add
load
up
and no
to
load
15 to
categories, I
20
assume?
seconds. That means that a player can have a much faster run, but fall behind because of loading times outside of their control. So the
That's so
community
weird.
was transitioning towards
I don't understand if it was like
subtracting
different
all
versions
loads
of a
out the
disc or
final
something with
time.
like patches.
This would level the playing field, and as a byproduct, lower the time of
Like
each
when we watched the
run
Wii
by
Sports
a bit
one?
over 2 minutes. Fades 24:29 converted to a time of 22:20 without loads. In January 2020, a runner named Video completed a run of 24:35 with loads that the community thought might have tied Fade's run when retimed without loads, hence the comments at the end of Fade's run. It ended up being just behind it with a 22:23.
That much
But when
loading?
Fade got his 24:28,
I guess
that
no
removed
SSDs
all
and
doubt,
shit, right?
and Fade was securely on top once again. In March 2020, timing without loads was made official, and the world
been known for quite some time now that the Wii and Wii U do not. Oh, right, because the Wii U, right, does not have consistent loading times for this game. And while this is pretty negligible for most people, it can make a big difference for top runs.
Record.
From the runs we've timed so far, loading times can vary by more than 10 seconds for an 80% run and are not even consistent on each Wii, meaning someone could miss out on getting a PB because of having slower load times than their previous run. For the sake of allowing top runners to compete on the same playing field, it was decided some leaderboard changes should be made regarding the top runs, which at the moment are considered to be 80% runs under 25 minutes. The following is the list of changes that were made. Runs under 25 minutes are ranked by a without loads column. Runs ranked without loads also now use milliseconds to prevent ties. So I guess you literally have to like edit it frame by frame and shit. Or like take a frame by frame video and just cut out the load. Oh my god. That sounds like a nightmare. But I guess it only is a nightmare when you have a PB, right? So it's not often.
2020, timing without loads was made official, and the world record was now a 22:19. It's also worth mentioning.
Dude, remember at the beginning when we thought that under 25 was like impossible?
That in recent months, players discovered that the way they originally retimed runs added a couple seconds.
You know what? These are people that test shit that's 1 to 2 frames of precision. So
22:21. But for this video, I'll be using retimed times for accuracy.
Retimed
Through the
times.
first few months of 2020, the leaderboard was starting to get tight at the top. The record remained the same, but people like Video were now just seconds away.
Damn.
Fade Vanity had been in the top spot for over 2 years, setting 6 records and lowering the time by half a minute in the process.
That's insane.
He
Bro,
was
imagine
the
that though.
third
You do all that and then you see
longest-lasting
people start to like
record
catch
holder
up and you're like,
in
well, now what the fuck do I
mirroring
do?
the domination that Riker Z and Ochgard once had. But other players were starting to catch up. Everyone's record reign needs to end someday, and with increased pressure at the top of the leaderboard, it seemed inevitable that a breakthrough was coming. And on July 2nd, that breakthrough finally came.
Now, was it him or somebody else?
Is Pidgey.
Pidgey, okay. A completely
Pidgey
new name.
was early on a clear candidate to take the record. He was a former world record holder in New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, so making the switch to the Wii version came naturally to him.
That makes sense.
After running the game for just a few months,
Dumbass bird.
Pidgey was within seconds of Fade Vanity's time. And on July 2nd, 2020, he got a 22:19.4, just barely ahead of Fade for a new world record. New strategies in World 5 were a key for this run. There was an even easier method for getting 556, developed by Tutti Polo. By doing an additional wall kick here, you're set up to more easily make it to the second wall kick and have a much better chance at getting the fast cycle. And in 5-3, Monster found a trick nicknamed the Weird Shell Strat. If you're fast enough, you arrive at this Koopa right after he stops to dance.
You reminded me, Sam, I gotta load up a video after this one to show you guys how fucking hilarious it is.
There's also randomness on the overworld maps. The World 1 Goomba moves 3 times clockwise, meaning there's one direction he never moves. If this one direction is up, you save 35 frames, since the Goomba's up animation takes the longest. On the other hand, if that one direction is down, you lose that time, since down is his shortest animation. World 5 has similar
That's so crazy.
Plant, but it's less understood than the Goomba. These two spots have about a second of time variance combined, which is entirely out of the player's control. So, in July 2020, out of the player's control.
How do you do like frame by frame again? Is it do you do playback speed 0.25 and then the arrow keys?
Oh,
Sure isn't. How do you frame? Not that way. How do you do frame by frame? I need to Google this. How to do frame by frame on YouTube. Pause the video at the desired point using the speed on the period key and the comma key. Okay, thank you, Google. Okay, Google. Okay, if I go back, So period and comma, right? Oh yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I feel like he's going like through it. Is it just the middle that can hit you then? I held it too long. What the fuck? Wait, no, this guy's a cheater. Get him out of here. That's crazy though. But right? Like, am I crazy? I thought that the foot bopped you. Unless it's one of those things where it's just like a specific hitbox, and also I just want to see this. So does frame by frame also work on like normal time? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Sorry.
So, in July 2020, this was the state of the new Super Mario Bros. Wii leaderboard. In first place, you had Pidgey, the newcomer who clearly had enormous potential. And just a half second behind him, you had Fade Vanity, the veteran who had proven himself time and time again. So, who was better? Well, just 4 days later, Pidgey would set his second world record, a slightly lower 22:19. He saved time by successfully getting the shell boost in 8-1, but lost a bit in Bowser's Castle. 2 records in a row from Pidgey. It seemed he might be there to stay. But just 2 weeks later, Fade Vanity was back. Fade got a 22:18, marking the first time in the game's history that someone reclaimed the record after losing it. The time save mostly came from optimizing movement. And
I was talking about that just the other day. Matthias or whatever.
6 days later, he was dethroned.
31 out of 32, like 7 times. I think I was talking about it last night, bro.
A run that matched the fastest he had ever performed Bowser's
What a
Castle
crazy video, man.
In October, a 22:15 from Pidgey. A month later, a lower 22:15 from Fade Vanity.
Bro.
2 weeks later, a new record from Pidgey.
Insane.
That was 7 world
Hicks, how you doing,
records
lad?
in the last 5 months. One new option they had was Bombful in 5-4. This stage had many small movement optimizations over the years.
Are those mini
but
Goombas?
Bombful was the biggest one. Yacker Tracker found that if you precisely jump off the first bomb, spin at the right time to bounce off the second bomb, then do a blind twirl and bounce off the third bomb, it's possible to make it to the end of the stage without hesitating. It saves 2 seconds, but is incredibly difficult, and most players didn't choose to
Can't even see them.
it. A few months later,
bookshelves today?
Pidgey would strike again with a remarkable 22:13. But in May, probably the most bizarre moment in the game's history took place. A runner named Skippy had been a world record contender for months, but perpetually remained a few seconds behind the top spot. His skill level was right there, but stringing everything together for a world record run is incredibly challenging. On May 2nd,
apparently not when you can
Skippy
just
got
clip
a
through
run
their
off to
feet.
a good start, essentially remaining tied with Pidgey's record through World 5. However, he started bleeding time in World 8, with a worse transition into the pipe in 8-2 and some sloppy movement in the airship.
Oh, that's sloppy as fuck. Get him out of here. Jesus.
So despite matching Pidgey's
speed run, by the way,
a new record was out of the question. Still, after the run he subtracted the loads, and he could see how much he missed the record by.
Oh.
He hadn't missed the record. Skippy had just gotten a 22:13.167.
Like slow run.
A new world record.
We're like molasses. We're like molasses run.
Did not make sense. He was tied going into
Skippy
World
instead
8,
of Speedy, you know what I'm saying?
Lost some time and finished the run. He didn't gain that time back anywhere. It was still a very well executed run, but this should not have been world record. Yet somehow, the time was faster than Pidgey's run. What happened? Well, the community looked into it. Runner Curran Joseph made a video removing all gameplay from Skippy's run, leaving just the overworld screens and cutscenes. He then compared this video to Pidgey's non-gameplay sections. Everything was roughly in sync through Worlds 1 and 5. But then, they arrived at the cutscene after Stage 8-7. There it was. Skippy's cutscene was almost 2 seconds faster. Curran quickly
What the
figured
fuck?
out why. You have the choice of playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii in a 4:3 or 16:9.
So it loads slower in widescreen?
Skippy played on a CRT TV, so he selected the 4:3 mode. The game runs identically in each mode for an any percent run, except during the cutscene after 8-7. In 4:3, black bars are added to the top and bottom of the screen. The game still loads these regions despite them not appearing visible.
Oh, the opposite because of the black
So,
bar. Oh,
the
shit.
airship above stage 8-7 loads when it's off screen, and the camera stops moving about 2 seconds sooner.
Oh no, okay, yeah,
Despite
okay,
this
okay, the
seeming
4-3
like
is
an
faster.
obvious find,
Bro, what the
players
shit?
didn't
Yeah, in
discover
Minecraft,
this before
Minecraft.
Skippy's run because nearly all runners played on a flat screen in 16:9 mode. In fact, only one prior record holder played in 4:3. Riker Z, way back in 2011 and 2012.
This Buster, dude, this
The
Buster,
time
this
save wasn't
Herb.
known about back then. So, with it being unearthed nearly a decade later, there were
World,
suddenly
the year I
2
was
more
born.
seconds on the table. So now, at the top of the leaderboard, you had 3 real record contenders. Skippy was the first obvious one. He was the current record
He
holder,
rebranded it as
and
Skibbity,
while
actually.
He may have benefited from the faster cutscene, he was still an incredibly talented runner. The second contender was Pidgey. All he had done was set the record 6 times in the past, and he was still competing to lower it.
That's what I'm saying, Hicks.
But
They
the third
literally
contender
beat the
was
game
someone I haven't
2
mentioned
times
yet.
by
Someone
now.
who had snuck up to the top
You know what I
with
mean?
22:15, just 2 seconds behind the record. This
I could go
is
have a
Billy
piss and come
Joe's
back, and they would just
66.
finish their second run.
Billy
And of course,
began
there's
to
a
ascend up
new
the
person.
leaderboards in late
These
2020.
videos, bro.
By the end of the year, he was in the top 10, and a month later, he was a bona fide record contender. He'd had a tragic run in February that hit Bombful in 5-4, and was about 3 seconds ahead of the record into Bowser's Castle. Unfortunately, he misguided a fireball and had to use an extra one. And upon retiming the run,
washed.
he missed world record by half a second.
Ugh.
But Billy didn't give up there. He did thousands of attempts, and partially thanks to the boost given by playing on 4:3, he
Oh, yeah,
found
Hicks.
himself on world record pace with regularity.
Ain't
And a few
nitrogen
weeks after
monoxide way.
Skippy's record, Billy was on another run deep. He lost a bit of time in the second half of World 5, but cleaned up the mistakes that Skippy had made in World 8. With about half a second lead, he entered Bowser's Castle.
I like
and
how the
tried
split
to
is called
close it out for
choke.
good. Billy's run finished at 22:12.367, a world record by just under a second.
Insane.
He was now the 7th record holder in the game's history, and he had earned it. This was his 59th run to the airship since his last major personal best. He had finally been able to chain together double bombless and a clean Bowser's Castle, and the result was a world record. Once again, the game was approaching a barrier.
Just wait till I pop in the
With
video.
all
You'll
time
see.
saves
You'll
being
see.
utilized,
21:37.
22:10 was starting to seem feasible.
You'll see.
But
Soon.
what time was left to save? Well, most of it was in World 5. Cleaner movement would save a second in 5-4, and Bombful would save a couple more. There were also minor improvements to be made in the Fortress and Ghost House. Those time saves would add up to a run just under 22:10.
That's so crazy.
But there was work to do to get to that point. The record was still about 2.4 seconds away from a sub 22:10. As time goes on, most speedruns see smaller and smaller improvements to their records.
Yeah, makes sense.
And New Super Mario Bros. Wii was no exception. The last several records had all been improvements by a second, or half a second, or even less than that. To get an improvement of 2.4 seconds, you have to go 11 records back in time to Fade Vanity's 24:29. The point is, it
Ridiculous.
was gonna take a while to get the record under 22:10. Multiple improvements would have to be made, and players would have to grind hundreds or thousands of attempts. An incredible run was on the horizon, but it would take time to get it there. And then, in one attempt, Pidgey decided to lay waste to it all.
What a bar, Jesus. Okay.
He saved the time in World
Pidgey
5.
would decide to
everything but
decimate them
bomb
and shit on their faces.
He got the shell boost in 8-1 and the crouch jumps in 8-2. After hitting double bombless, it became all the more real. This was easily world record pace, but was it sub 22:10 pace? Maybe. It was right on the border between 22:09 and 22:10. It was coming down to the wire. Pidgey just had to finish the escape, and the sub 22:10 could be his.
Something's gonna go wrong. Something's gonna go wrong. It always does. Oh! Oh my!
New Super Mario Bros. Wii has motion controls for certain actions. If you shake the
on the
Wii remote
last
with the propeller suit,
fucking
you fly
fuck.
into the air.
What do you call
Pidgey
button?
had made it to the end, then put down his controller to hit the split button. But he did it a fraction of a second too soon, and it registered as a spin. At first, the community wasn't sure if this would still be a world record. They couldn't tell until they removed the loads and retimed it. And when they did, Pidgey found out that he had missed the world record by 2 frames. It goes without saying how hard it is to come back from moments like this.
Oh no!
When you're so close and lose your ultimate goal to something as trivial as motion controls. And it's exceptionally hard to accept when you have competitors like Pidgey did.
Oh my god!
Billy still had the world record, and Skippy was just 1 second behind. He had done nearly 4,000 attempts, ran the game for over 2 years, and had never had a pace this good, this deep into the
that's
run.
so
And
heartbreaking.
sadly, there was no telling when he'd get there again.
Next
11
day?
days later,
11 days. Bro.
Pidgey had pulled a Dave Steeb. It took him just a week and a half to get back on the exact same pace. And I mean the exact same pace. It was almost an identical run into Bowser's Castle. He'd had a nearly flawless World 5 other than skipping Bombful, and hit the same tricks in World 8.
He skipped a 2-second
He
time
nailed
skip.
double bombless.
But still
And just like that,
provable.
Pidgey had given himself another chance. Once again, he had to get through the escape.
This is so. Oh, why am I so stressed watching this shit, bro? It's a fucking YouTube video. That wall jump, though, right? Oh no.
Redemption for Pidgey.
Yeah,
His
baby.
miss from 11 days ago could have haunted him for months. But instead,
Or the rest of his
in
life.
one straight shot, Pidgey had jumped all the way to sub 22:10. It was a landmark world record. And as the community celebrated, it was pretty clear that this one was gonna stand for a while. There were still other competitors at the top, but
And he
Pidgey
still
had
didn't
gotten
do the
nearly
bomb one.
everything you could get in a
Bro.
speedrun of the game. It was too tall of an order. And so, throughout the rest of 2021 and into 2022,
Chris, true.
Pidgey's
Wait, Chris just
2209
speedran somebody
remained
sold
alone at the
videos.
top.
What the fuck?
In early 2022, competition continued to increase. New names appeared in the top 10, and pressure was starting to mount. But Pidgey's records still remained strong. The fact that he had gotten a 22
How was UFC, lad? Did you win?
when nobody else could get below a high 22:11 was indicative of his skill level. Even after months of attempts from the world's best runners, no one was beating it. The simple fact was, without getting Bombful in 5-4, Pidgey's record would be next to impossible to beat. And nobody was up to the task of getting it in a fast enough run.
Until this new runner.
Until Billy came back.
Okay, not a new
On
runner,
March
but
26th, 2022, Billy had a fairly clean run into World 5. He hit Bombful in 5-4.
Makes sense, Chris. Makes
gaining
sense.
a couple of seconds
Both
over
of those
the record
sentences.
and instantly making his run much more serious.
So are you free from
He then
zombies?
gained more time in the ghost house via the meme jump through the boo ring. Unfortunately, he lost time in both 8-7 and the airship. So despite making it through double bombless, he was about even with the record into Bowser's Castle.
Washed.
He'd need an unbelievable last
Washed.
stage for this to have a shot at the record. And
10K doesn't seem too bad in zombies. I did that once
Bowser's Castle ever
with
performed
Vanguard or
record
something when I
run.
had COVID and I was
He
home.
beat Pidgey by less than 0.2 of a second. This run is the current world record of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Sub 22 might seem close,
Insane.
but right now it's quite unrealistic. A theoretical God run could clock in a few seconds above 22 minutes, but it's hard to see a path to a record below that at the moment.
Already
That
tracks,
being
right?
said, I have little doubt it'll one day come. Eventually, we'll hear of a 21-minute any percent run, but that
It's
day
true.
is not today. This is the history of New Super Mario Bros. Wii World Records. Thanks for watching.
Insane. Bro, I was watching a Wind Waker speedrun on Ludwig's latest event. And there was one skip. We were talking about how like the devs put an invisible wall on whatever, but I think there's like literally a pixel. Yeah, Link is. I was trying to remember because I knew Link was in the name. I was like, it's not Linkle. I gotta see if I can find the one part. It's so crazy. I think it's like a pixel for you to like clip through an invisible wall at Hyrule Castle. Been running Wind Waker since he was a small lad. Crazy, man. Crazy, man. Millions of views on YouTube. Crazy shit, bro. Crazy shit, bro. He's not speedrun this game yet, okay? God, man, these videos are so him. Alright, gamers, as always, thank you, Summoning Salt, for the video. Make sure to go give him a like, a subscribe, all that good shit. What a banger, man. What an absolute banger video. So good. YouTube, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.